Hi folks, Paul Barry from Acting for Camera here today. I just wanted to run over why it is that it's important to learn your lines and why it's important to know them unconsciously. Abraham Maslow talked about we would be initially, when it came to learning anything, unconsciously incompetent. We didn't know how to do it. Then we become consciously incompetent. We became aware we didn't know how to do it. Then we would become consciously competent. We started to know we knew how to do it, but then eventually we would become unconsciously competent. We didn't even realize that we just drove a car. At first, we don't know that we don't know how to drive a car. Then we start to drive a car and we're no good at it. Then we start to drive a car and we think we're really good at it. And then we drive a car and we don't even realize that we did it. We're so great at it. If there is a criticism that actors should not learn their lines perfectly because they'll be not fresh, they'll be uninteresting, they'll be in some way hampered by these lines, the suggestion is when you are consciously competent at them, yes, that's what happens with everything. That's when you stiffen up. But you need to go through that. You don't run away from it. You don't not become competent because you're worried about that. You push through it and you become unconsciously competent to the point where the lines are in the back of your head, you open your mouth and they just come out. Like the origin of counterfactual thinking has philosophical roots and can be traced back to early philosophers such as Aristotle and Plato, who pondered the epistemological status of subjunctive suppositions and their non-existent but feasible outcomes. You don't think about those lines. You've done them, you run them, they come out, and it's then about your objective. It's about how you're feeling. It's about your relationship. It's about what's going on in the scene, but you're not thinking about those lines. You're thinking about the effect you're trying to have on that person. That's what happens when you get through, push through conscious competence to unconscious competence. You're not even aware of how good you are at that stuff, at saying those lines anymore. If you stop shy of that, yes, of course you'll be criticized for not being fresh. But stopping even further short of that and not learning your lines at all, depending on the project, that could be very interesting. But in my experience, that's not going to be appropriate for every job you do, and it's not going to be appropriate for most jobs that you do. No matter what people tell you, unless they are actually an editor, a sound recordist, a director, on the front lines all the time, we can say to you as much as we like, it's much better when you do this as an actor. But when you're the sound editor and you're the sound recordist and you're the boom swinger, it doesn't help that much. As I say, when the dolly grip has to move on a particular word in your line, because that's how they time the shot, and you keep changing the line all the time, they're not going to get up there and tell you that you're a pain in their butt and you're making their life impossible. But they're going to find their job difficult because you want that kind of freedom. That's fine as long as you realize the effect it actually has on the entire organism around you. It's not good for us as actors to do it simply because it makes our lives easier and better. We must work as a group, and ultimately we should all win. So there's my little rant for the day. I believe learn your lines as well as you can to give yourself as much freedom as you possibly can. I haven't met many people in my time as a teacher in the last 20 years who can learn lines perfectly but choose not to. It's usually people who can't learn lines perfectly who tell you you don't need to. That's where I get suspicious. So do what you need to do. Be as confident as you possibly, prepare as much as you possibly can so you can be as confident as you can possibly be. And then whatever you do, claim it. It's your choice. So hopefully I'll see you out there in the industry.